I just remembered a really funny story about Dad. Nathan was in Sweden, and he was actually doing some reporting for at the tennis, the international tennis there. So, when they go in the room, they interview these big name tennis stars after their game, like, why didn't you win, or why did you win? Hey, what about that tanty you threw? All that stuff. So Nathan was one of those guys interviewing these people. And what happened is Nathan was running around and having a really good time at the tennis tournament. And this bloke saw him doing that and said, look, can I hang out with you? You just seem a really fun guy. Nathan spent a couple of days with this guy. And this guy says to Nathan, I was an Olympian, a pole vaulter, Sergey Bubka. Sergey Bubka, I think that's his name properly said. And Nathan didn't think all that much of it, right? And he rings Dad and says, have you heard of a guy named Sergey Bubka? And Dad just went nuts. He went, oh my God, you being hanging out with Superman? He goes, oh my, I can't believe it. And it turns out that Sergey Bubka is the world's greatest pole vaulter. And, the guy, I remember Dad standing, he goes, you don't get it, Rich. This guy could pole vault over our house. We got this 2-story house. Dad was so enthusiastic when he talked about it, because Sergey Bubka got $1 million from the Russian government every time he broke the world record. So he used to break it by this much every time and get $1 million every time he broke it. He could have cleared it by a really long way, but he played it smart so he could get as much money as he could, and just broke it little by little. And Dad thought it was the most legendary thing that someone had ever done and everything like that. So it was just so funny. And Sergey Bubka gave Nathan the business card and said, anytime you want to hang out, ring me. I just had so much fun with you. And everything like that. And I don't think Nathan's ever called Sergey or really or whatever. But yeah, Dad was just blown away. Yeah, and it became part of his repertoire of stories. Like, what about your brother hanging out with Sergey Bubka, Superman? He could pole vault over our house, and then he'd tell the $1 million story and that all over. Yeah, so Dad kind of, you'd have surprising stories that come out with, and then he'd surprise you. Like, I remember one day I was talking about Doctor Who, and he goes, yeah. This scientist I used to work to at CSIRO's daughter was the Doctor Who assistant for a while on that show, and things like that. So he'd have these surprising things, but he also had his repertoire of regular stories, and like I said, the Sergey Bubka, Nathan hanging out with him, and Sergey Bubka think Nathan was a really top bloke and all that. That was became one of Dad's regulars.